Average at Best Cornhole here. I've always been a fan of Swag Bags. They're not just cool designs. They also make some great bags, and I think I might have found my new favorite bag from them. New to the 2026 season, they released the Joker series. Now, this is a looser bag. Well, let me rephrase that. This is a looser bag compared to other Swag Bags that you're used to. And you might think that it's pretty similar to the Chaos or the Bazooka, just because of that hybrid slow side, but it's really not, because these don't have that performance liner in them. And I think that does a couple things. I know that, I mean, let's be honest, if performance liners were that great, if they made every bag that special, then every bag would have them. But there's a lot of bags out there that don't have the performance liners. And there is good things about performance liners, but there's also bad things. Like a performance liner helps a bag drip because of that slick surface when it's in the hole. Well, when you're not that good, like me, you have bags hanging off the side or even hanging off the back of the board that, bags are hitting the board. Well, that bag's going to drip off the board. If it doesn't have that performance liner in there, the pellets are going to bite in the fabric a little bit more. And that also goes for like shot shaping. The bag, when it doesn't have that performance liner, the pellets are going to stick and grab a little bit more, and you're going to be able to shape shots, as the performance liner makes the bag a little bit harder because the pellets shift and move on that slick surface. Not to mention that performance liner adds another thick fabric in the bag, making the bag feel a little bit thicker, and it takes longer for them to break in. If you don't have that, then you can get that looser feeling bag, and they're going to break in a lot quicker. Enough with that. I'm sorry. Let's get into the review. The slow side, it is a hybrid material. It is called Viewmont. So you can also find this on Chaos series and Bazooka series from Swag Bags. Other ACL bags that have this material would be Viper R, Rippers, and Clones. The fast side, this is the rough side of Rave. That is the other side of probably the most popular 9-speed fast side material on bags. You can also find that on like the Game Changers or Surefires. This fast side on this bag is actually the opposite side of the material. That's the fast side for the Chaos. Swag Bags rates these series at a 5 on the slow side and an 8 on the fast side. That's pretty common call outs for these two materials. I do think that slow side plays a little bit faster than that, and I always like to call it a 5.5. So these started out with a medium template, which is pretty common to Swag Bags, but without that liner on the backside, they did stretch a little bit more, and they did get loose a little bit more than like what the Chaos would. So I think the template is a touch above a medium. I'm not going to call it like a medium large, whatever all that means, but I'm saying that this bag stretched and it got loose and thinned out, so it does feel a little bit larger than a medium template. These bags do have a mixed fill. I don't know what the ratio is. It does feel like there's a lot of rounds in there. I know the normal Chaos, it doesn't have a mixed fill. It's mainly flat fill. Chaos L does have a flat fill. This potentially could be the same fill as that Chaos L, but I feel like the Chaos L never really was an L bag because it really didn't weigh like an L bag. And these bags are definitely looser in my mind, and therefore you do get a lot more flop in them than you would from that Chaos L. Before I get into the slide up, if you're liking the content, like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's really helping me out. It's giving me some recognition, and it's letting me keep on do this for you. Highlight of this series is how it allows you to play that offensive game. And what I mean by that is, yes, you run holes with them, but you also beat blockers with them. I think they were great at that. I'm going to get into forgiveness. They are a forgiving bag, but the round fill in there makes them active, so you definitely can cut them easily. And I know that, with my cut shots, I tend to put a little too much tilt on them, but since they're loose, the material does grab the board and it puts that cut on there, so I like that. But also offensively, like playing a get-around bag or a bully bag, because they are loose and they can bunch up if someone's bag's sitting there right in front of the hole. if you throw we're like real hard at it, angle, the bag kind of bunches up in my mind and shifts their bag over, but then flattens back out, and then you gain that lane to the hole. And if you're not throwing hard enough, it's going to stand there and you just took over the block of that hole. I think the low light of them, it's not going to be a low light to me because I do like a looser bag. The bag might be a little bit too loose for people. It's not overly loose by no means at all. But like I said at the beginning, if you're used to swag bags aren't super loose. This one is going to feel looser than that. It's definitely by no means too loose at all. I heard nobody complain about the looseness. I was just a little surprised at how much looser it was than their other series. I did touch on forgiveness, and I said it is a forgiving bag, which sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense because I also said it's an active bag. But I think that the hybrid material, definitely the looseness, it really tames the bag down, making it forgiving. I saw a lot of throws where people had too much tilt on their bag or whatnot, and it straightened out for the most part. So you don't have to worry too much about the bag kicking on you. It is forgiving, and it is going to slide fairly straight for you on your throws. So this is what I'm saying, with a performance liner, you gain a lot of whole bodiness, and I think Swag did really good with the fill and the looseness of this bag to like counteract not having that liner in there, because they were still super hole friendly, especially, with that looseness, you could accidentally grab the hole quite a bit, and there is enough room in there for all those round pellets to keep on shifting and moving when it does get close to the hole. So they had some drip to them too. So that's why I'm saying, like, what they did to the bag really counteracted not having that slick liner, and they still were able to have some whole bodiness to them. So I didn't think they were the greatest at collecting, but I didn't really play them like purposely laying up blockers and trying to collect something, crazy off to my opponent's size. So that really didn't bother me. But I stated that when you throw hard at another bag, it does bunch up quite a bit. Well, sometimes that makes it a little bit hard to bring a bag over when you're trying to collect it. Now, collecting straight on, no issue at all. If you can, leave a front hanger on the hole, or maybe even like, a stage 1 blocker right there, you're going to clean up super easy. It's those hard collects, the ones that are off the side that in your mind you think you're going to be able to do. I found that sometimes the material will bunch or miss because there wasn't enough pellets out in the corner, and I didn't get those collects like I thought I was about to. They have great action, especially when you want to talk about cuts and rolls. Even Cooper and I, we've been really trying to get a roll bag down pack, and we were able to roll these. I don't always get really good footage of it because it seems like if something happens while we're playing a game and there's 2 bags there that we could roll over, we get horrible at it, and you completely shank it or miss the board, or it's no good. And then I don't want to put that in the video and you watch, us shanking bags or whatever. But we were able to roll these bags, and like I said, with the cut, I really do think I put too much tilt on my bag when I go to do a cut, but I think the looseness of this bag allowed the material to kind of flatten out and bite the board and give me those cuts I was looking for. Playability for these, and you guessed it, I'm running holes with these bags, and I think they were great at that because they were active, so you were able to beat blockers. But even if you weren't putting like crazy cut shots or trying to roll over those, I think the get around, actually bunching the bag up and getting around or like I said, throwing hard at it and bunching this bag up and kind of moving it out of the way so your bag kind of straightened up and went into the hole. It worked out really, really good for these whole bags. If you don't know, you can find Swag Bags at swagbagscornhole.com. They also have that Facebook page, which is at Swag Bags Cornhole. And they also have a group or a team page or a fan page, and that's just Swag Nation with some flame things in front and behind it. Availability and designs, still a little limited for the beginning of this season. Swag Bags does have reps, so reach out to them. I'm sure they can get you special designs or whatnot. I did speak with Swag Bags, and I know that they are very, very close to starting to release some new designs on the website for this series, so keep an eye out. Cost is $98.99 for a set of these. Like I said, they do have reps, so find your local Swag Bags rep, and maybe you can talk to them about designs and cost and all the information you need for the bag. So I think there is a place for these series, the Joker and the Chaos and the Bazooka and the Chaos L, and I think that's why Swag Bags still created this bag, because it's going to be the looser, more forgiving, maybe more hole friendly version of those bags. As you know, the Chaos, with it being a little bit fuller, you're going to be able to manipulate that a little bit better, roll it a little bit easier, cut it a little bit easier. Not that you can't do that with these, because I was still able to do that with these. I just think these are probably just a little bit better at like dumbing it down and running holes with them, and increasing your PPR, or trying to put 4 bags in the hole every time so you get your 12 points and make your opponent miss because they're getting nervous because you're putting them all in the hole. I just want to end this with, you're going to be average at something. Be average at cornhole.